So I've been doing my pole dancing every other day, occasionally every third day, but mostly every other day. And I was getting on so well with it. Just loving the way your muscles grow. And I've actually, put on, my arms are pretty big. I looked in the mirror and I thought, is that too big? Do you know what I mean? That's how good the protein powder is and the workouts on pole. Pole fitness is, I think, faster, certainly for me, because I engaged with it so much more readily and I was so happy doing it, and I do it for longer than weight training ever was. But I do put on muscle very quickly, and my arms are much, much sort of bigger, and the muscles, you can really see the muscles. I thought, whoa, that's pretty impressive, actually. After about 2 months, I think I started maybe 2 months ago, approximately. I can't remember the exact date, but it's not very long at all. I mean, it might be less, it might be 6 weeks, I don't know. Anyway, quite painful after because I really push myself. We really want to, don't we? We think, I've wasted far too many years drinking and smoking and, bad men, the biggest sin of all. And now I just want, at 63, I want a body that befits my mind. The problem is, we're fragile. You can't deny it. You get to a certain age, you are fragile. So you're balancing this sort of energy and this zeal to complete, the task, which is to be lithe and slender and muscular and fit and with less pain than you had before, because your muscles have formed cushions around the bones, and your ligaments are nicely, slowly stretched so that you have as much motion as you maybe had 20 years ago, etc., etc. But herein lies the problem. The body does go on strike. So it's just so depressing. So I'll tell you what happened. I have got a propensity to push myself too far. But I can't recognise, when I'm in the middle of something, that my body's saying stop. Because I've got this, this sort of default pushing thing, slightly obsessive. You can do it, My inner voice is like an SAS Sergeant Major or something, shouting. Do they have Sergeant Majors in the SAS? I don't know. Yeah, I guess they do. Yes, of course they do. So I got into the habit of, I started off with a 5-minute session at the very start, where I was just literally doing sort of a few spins, pirouettes, and I'd be puffed out literally straight away because my body just wasn't used to that. The only thing my body was used to is cycling. And I've just sold my push bike, actually. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So I wasn't used to raise it. It's quite different to ballet. And let me think, why is it different to ballet? You tend to, because I've got a spinning pole, so you tend to push to gain momentum, which I don't ever do in ballet. I'm always holding onto the bar. Of course, with a vertical spinning bar, you've got this slight wee element, so it is a bit more like flying. It's much more like flying than doing bar work, ballet bar work. So as you push, your legs and stuff has to catch up with the momentum. So that actually is quite aerobic. You start doing that for a bit, So you're working your heart as well. So I started off with literally minutes. I probably when I first got it, I lasted 30 seconds and I thought, ooh, that's interesting. Because it lights up parts of your body you haven't had lit for many years. So, especially, I'm so sedentary now. So sedentary. It's, it's annoying me that I'm so sitting. And because of this neck injury, I have to be in bed to type and all of this stuff. And it's fine in the winter, but, come summer, I want to be doing stuff. I want to be at one with nature. I want to be going out all the time with my factor 50 so I don't get skin cancer. I want to be doing all of these lovely things. So I really wanted to do a sport that I really, really like. So the good thing about pole fitness is I really, really love doing it. So I was got up to about 25 minutes the last time, which I was really pleased about. I was like, wow. Now that includes the warm-up, which, can take 5 or more minutes. I mean, actually, when I get back to it, I'm going to do 10 minutes because I've got this injury. And I think it's because I didn't do my warm-up properly. It's a very cold room. That makes a difference. You need to really warm up. Your skin and your blood and your heart all need to be working in tandem and ready for these extreme muscle exertions. Otherwise, the muscle's just going to, you're going to F up royally. You're going to do yourself a drama and now be in a situation where you can't do it for a week or 8 weeks. So I got up to 25 minutes and I was really pleased with myself. And I did a couple of stretches and I was in a bit of a rush. I didn't do enough stretches. As I was doing it, I was doing a manoeuvre because I'm so much better now. So I can actually lift my legs off the ground quite readily. I can cross them over on the bar and lean back with one arm quite readily. This involves a lot of twisting of the side muscles, your oblique muscles and your intercostal muscles, which I did feel a twinge. And I wasn't even doing something particularly exciting. I was just doing a pretty standard sort of twist. But I did do a lot of exercise. I really exerted the arms. And you can see that today because I swear they grew after the last session, honestly. And I felt this little twing or twang or ping or something kind of under my boob, round about the upper ribs and towards the side. I thought, oh, what's that? It's a bit weird. But I just carried on because you do. Because the thing with an injury like that, sometimes you don't even know that you've done it until the next day. It's bizarre, but I suppose adrenaline and, various other things, stop you from feeling stuff. Excitement, you're thinking, I've just done another manoeuvre, oh my God, and oh wow, I'm starting to flow a bit better. I'm starting to look a bit less ungainly on the pole when I try and fly off the ground. So anyway, I'd also, before that, I'd been doing some printing. So I've got this printing shop that I do now, hand printing. And I'd been working my right hand using the printing press for about 2 hours. So my obliques already hurt. And this is the same side. This is my right side. This is the side that I favour over all else. And interestingly enough, actually, it's my left side that's a bit weaker on the pole, but it's my right side that I've injured. So, that tells you something, doesn't it? You've pushed it too far because you think it's good. You see what I mean? You think it's better than the left. My left was already exhausted. So anyway, when I had a hot bath and to, get all the muscles back to normal and a bit soothing, etc. And when I got out, it was kind of worse. And the pain just kind of got worse and worse and more sharp. And then it was hurting when I was breathing. And I thought, oh my God, this is really worrying. Anyway, I spoke to Dr. Google, spoke to my AI assistant, and it would appear to be an intercostal sprain. And the AI on Google, you can go to Google now and get the AI there. Sometimes I prefer to talk to that one than chat, because chat called me love the other day. And I thought, what the F have you called me love for? I was talking about my muscle, and I said I'm supposed to be launching my Fitness for Elders channel in a month, and I've got an injury, and it said, oh, love. I thought, don't call me love. I thought it was a man, and now it's started to pretend to be my busy mate. It's just really annoying. I don't know whether to tell it. I mean, it doesn't have feelings, so... But do you say to it, could you please get back to the slightly manly way that you used to speak to me? And I can't define that, ladies. I cannot define that, but it probably means very slightly autistic and a bit know-all. That's probably what I perceived as maleness. So anyway, so my AI told me, you need to rest for a minimum of 2 weeks and up to 8 weeks to properly heal. So as long as you're feeling pain, you cannot go back on that pole, basically. So it turns out I can still do ballet, I can do Tai Chi, and I can do yoga. So that's what I'm throwing myself into from between now and when I launch my channel, because I don't want to go back to the bar. I mean, the thing is, with the bar that I'm teaching, the workshops that I'll be having on Elderescence TV, I'm not doing any flying. There's no raising of legs or anything like that, because it's specifically for older people. And I can see now at my age how easy it is to actually hurt yourself a lot. And I'm really fit and, healthy, and I take all my protein powders, and I'm down to the last sort of gram of what I should be doing. But most people aren't like that. And if you've got 70-year-olds who are watching your video and you're saying to them, yes, just do this, and you're flying up in the air, they're going to hurt themselves. I'm doing it at 63. So that, you've got to have some sort of recognition that it's actually a dangerous sport. I mean, it's a dangerous athletic sport that requires extensive training and real strength. And you can't expect older people to do that. They'd be absolutely horrified. My mum I use as my benchmark. I say to her, Mum, it's just a giant walking stick. Because it is. The pole is a giant walking stick, I say. You can do stuff, but she doesn't want to have a pole stuck in the middle of her room, which is fair enough. She's got her own sort of physio things that she does, and she's quite happy doing them, and they involve sitting down. It's very sweet. I'm not so hell bent on teaching people sitting down exercises, because legs need moving, But she does some. I think before she gets out of bed, she does some leg lifts and things like that. But the thing with Mum, which is really good, is she walks every day. So she goes out every day, and a lot of elders do that, and it's actually perfect. It's absolutely perfect if you can get a walk in. Now, I walked to Portsmouth yesterday, and I was aching when I got back. So I sold my bike a couple of weeks ago because it's getting on my nerves. It's really old, it's really mucky, it's in my hallway. I'm trying to decorate the hallway. I'm trying to, be a bit more organised in my life. And this sort of rusty old bike was getting on my nerves, although I was still riding it. But because I'm not riding it so much, because I've got a car now, the tyres were going flat, and I just thought, I'll get it out of my life. So I'm really not used to walking, because I'd always go in the car or I'd always cycle, one or the other. Now, when you walk, the muscles you're using are very different to when you cycle. It was really surprising. So after this, just a couple of miles I did yesterday, I was actually throbbing and on different places. And then of course I did my my side in there with my intercostals, and I just thought, God, I feel really ancient. I feel like I'm about 100. But I suppose what my body is saying to me is, Mrs., calm it down a bit. You don't need to go hell for leather when you're in your 60s. And that's my message to you guys. So when the channel starts and I'm doing all my fitness stuff, we're going to have lots of very, very gentle, slow type exercise. And I'm going to be using things like scarves for ballet, and it's not proper ballet, not hardcore, painful ballet, with blocks and straight legs and nothing like that. Just gentle exercise with meditative music and healthy talk and chat. Much nicer, much nicer.